So, Rami, when Jesus says he's going to get crucified, how do you
How do you know
interpret that?
Jesus said that?
Okay, so do you reject Jesus as that?
Yes.
Okay, how do you know Muhammad's in continuity with Jesus? Go ahead.
Matthew 21.
Oh no, but how do you know Jesus says that? If you reject Matthew,
I can simply say, I don't have to. No, that's my point. That's my point.
Go ahead.
Rumi, let me
I
finish
want
the
you to
point.
do it, and I'm
gonna tell you. I can simply say, I can accept what it says on a surface level, but I'm going to reject the interpretation that we're doing with it. That's my point.
Wait, Rumi, can you restate your question, please?
How do you know Jesus teaches the same theology as Muhammad?
Using the historical critical method.
Okay, does the historical critical method admit that Jesus died on the cross?
Yeah, the Quran also admits that.
Yeah, we don't reject that.
Okay, so no, do you believe Jesus died on the cross?
Yeah, historically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so historically Jesus died on the cross, correct?
Yeah, the historical attestation, yeah.
Yes, so you as a Muslim can hold that Jesus died on the cross.
Historically speaking, not in reality.
Okay, so history can contradict reality?
Yeah.
Okay, that's completely okay. How do you know if something's in reality or not then?
Yeah, so when we see things occur, when things are attested, for example, we know that people saw Christ die, and they believed that Christ died, and they wrote that Christ died. Is that correct, Rumi?
Yes.
Does the Quran corroborate this or negate this?
Depending on who interpretation you take. If you take your interpretation,
the mainstream interpretation.
Yeah, the Quran. Well, I believe the verse is like an unfalsifiable verse, in my opinion.
So I asked you about the mainstream interpretation. Don't be a sophist.
Yeah, the mainstream interpretation is that Christ never died, but he made to appear.
No, I asked what the Quran says. What does the Quran say?
Yeah,
it doesn't just say that he didn't die. What else does it say?
It said he made to appear, right?
Right. So historically speaking, people did see Jesus die. They did believe that he died, and they did write that he died. Is that correct?
Yeah. Does Jesus say he died?
Can you just say yes or no, please?
Yeah, that's what like.
All right. So the Quran corroborates the historical evidence, right?
So
beautiful. Wait. I'm not done.
Go ahead.
Well, thank you for conceding that the Quran confirms the historical evidence. And the historical critical method does not contradict the Quranic claim, because the Quranic claim makes two claims of two natures. One that's naturalistic, one that's verifiable via naturalistic means, and one that's supernatural. It's not verifiable via naturalistic means.
And Jesus says,
let me finish. I'm about to land. I'm about to land, bro. About to land.
Go ahead.
Right? So the two claims in the Quran are that Jesus historically died, meaning according to the historical data, people saw him die, wrote that he died, believed that he died. And then the second claim is of supernatural nature, that although people saw him die, wrote that he died, believed that he died, God in reality saved him. But that's supernatural. That's not verifiable via historical means.
Can Jesus say something that contradicts reality?
Depends on what you mean.
Can he say something like the Trinity is true, which contradicts reality?
No, he can't. No.
Okay, so he can't say a statement that contradicts reality, correct?
Yeah.
Does Jesus make a statement that he's going to die?
No, not historically.
Okay, so how do you know what historically?
Using the historical critical method. We already went through this.
Okay, so
you see how you're stuck, Rumi?
No, that's fine. According to the historical critical method, if it shows that Jesus preached his death, then what do you do? Do you admit that Jesus contradicts?
Yeah, if according to the historical critical method, it shows that Jesus predicted the crucifixion, then Islam would be false, but it doesn't.
Okay, so what historical critical method do you use?
Yeah, the criteria of dissimilarity and the criteria of embarrassment. So the criteria, let me present it, okay? According to the criteria of dissimilarity, right, we're looking for things that the post-Easter church would have wanted to say or would have been likely to make up or to fabricate on the lips of Christ. So the data shows that according to the Gospels, which is basically the most relevant historical data that we have, this historical figure called Christ, he was, or they really believed him to be the Messiah. Now, how did they come to believe that he's the Messiah? Is it because he died? No. The Gospels tell us that when he died, they denied his messiahship. So how did they come to think that he's the Messiah? The most plausible conclusion is that he claimed to be the Messiah. And they had enough reason to believe that he's the Messiah. And so you have this messianic expectation in the first century, and this is unanimous amongst all views, whether of the Sadducees, who weren't too, they weren't looking forward for a Messiah. They were more concerned with temple stuff. Then you have the Dead Sea Scroll. Let me finish. I'm giving you a history breakdown. Then you have the Dead Sea Scroll community. Then you have the Zealots. Then you have the Pharisaic view, which Jesus aligned with. The common view between all of them is that the Messiah would be some kind of figure to restore Israel, to remove oppression, and to basically establish a kingdom. Whether it's a cosmic kingdom, whether it's an earthly kingdom, there's a difference of opinion. But they all agree that he will come, he will remove the oppression from Israel, he will restore Israel. So when Christ claimed to be the Messiah, lived his life, for some reason they believed that he's the Messiah, they had enough reason to think that. And he dies. So he dies, right? They see him die. Why on earth would they continue believing he's the Messiah? Now Christians are stuck with a dead Messiah. What is the best way this is embarrassing. What is the best way to explain this? Is to go into scripture, find vague references of a suffering servant. You find this in Psalm 22, Isaiah 53, and other passages, and read those prophecies into his life and make it seem as if he really did come to prophesy his coming. That it was his plan the whole time to come and die as a suffering servant. But we know this is historically implausible because of the internal data and the external data. Therefore, the historical Jesus likely didn't predict his own death and resurrection.
You want me to address all your points now?
Please.
Yeah, this is fine. Saying there's a consensus. That's a fallacy, ad populum fallacy, so that doesn't matter.
What's the fallacy?
Ad populum fallacy.
How did I appeal to ad pop? What?
You said the consensus says this.
I never mentioned a consensus.
The consensus
Are you hearing things?
Can I address all your points on that?
I never mentioned a consensus.
You did. Okay, so maybe
what?
People could, okay,
Yo.
people can watch it back if they recorded
Bro,
it.
just wait. Maybe 1 second. Maybe I'm mistaken. Guys, did I mention a consensus?
Yeah, you said it.
No, he's just not tracking.
No.
Okay,
I literally did not mention a consensus.
And it will be posted.
Anyways, go on. I literally
Okay,
didn't
so
mention a consensus.
You did say consensus, right? And you did say unanimously. But let's just say you didn't, hypothetically, right? You're saying that, well, we have a dead Messiah. Well, if first, and then you say, well, they have an issue, they have a criteria of embarrassment. If you read something like Bartman lately, they don't believe that the criteria of embarrassment actually...
Embarrassment. I said dissimilarity and embarrassment.
And yes, you included that as well. Can I finish?
Right. So the main point is dissimilarity.
Look, I don't want you to try to save yourself by keeping...
Don't mention things that are irrelevant, please.
Okay,
just address the topic.
Believing them to be irrelevant is different to when they're actually...
This is what happens when you're stuck, Rumi.
It's just confirmation bias. So instead, let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
Instead of you trying to jump in and try to
sure. Just go for it.
And I'll show you each one doesn't work right. First, you're assuming some type of interpretation of the Bible, right? Showing there's inconsistencies. So that's point one. Point two, you're assuming some external issues as well with the churches. That's point two. Third point is with there's these loads of different groups. that believed in this, like the best explanation is going to be that they made it up. All of this is going to clearly be wrong, right? And then the best explanation, especially in the posteriors after all the evidence is given, such as the empty tomb and stuff like that, is going to fit better under the Christian hypothesis, right? And Christian hypothesis, all I mean here is the death and resurrection of the Messiah, right? So all of these points are, it doesn't work at all, because you have to assume certain principles such as the interpretation of the Old Testament, the interpretation of the New Testament. You have to assume if they were going to be embarrassed, or if they just have the Messiah, what to do now, right? All of this is certain presuppositions that you have baked in that you would need to prove, that you can't prove, right? So all I'm asking you to do is just tell me what is the historical critical method is when we know Jesus says X according to the New Testament, and when Jesus does not say X according to the New Testament, right? Because when we say that the historical critical method says Jesus says something according to the New Testament, or when the historical critical method comes to the conclusion that Jesus says this in reality, and you also said that there's going to be a distinction, right, between history and reality, which is going to lead you into like extreme skepticism, because just because something places something in reality, then you're not going to know if something happens historically, then you're not going to know it's happened. So I can just literally question everything, right? I can just ask you, wow, just because X appears to be across the road or something, well, how do you know it doesn't make it appear? How do you know Muhammad actually existed, or he just made it appear, or stuff like this, right? So because you have this idea of made to appear, then you have this idea of how do we trust our senses? So the question is, for example, you posed the question like, how do I know I'm not your God, right? But now we can just propose the question, how do you know this really happened and then actually made it to appear? Because your God, according to you, right, has made it so you can't always trust your senses, which is going to make you fall into Cartesian demon.
Beautiful, thank you. You guys notice how he didn't address anything and he just yapped his way? So watch how I'm going to address his question right on. He said, well, how do you know that you could trust your senses and that something just isn't a mere appearance? Well, you trust your senses unless you have a reason not to. That's the epistemology, right? So if you see something happen, you believe it happened unless you have a reason to think it didn't happen.
I just want to add to you, because this is the exact argument he was making prior when Anas was here regarding phenomenal conservatism. He literally made this exact argument as being the reason for the basis.
We're literally backtracking
with the senses.
Right.
So now
isn't it supposed to
you're
be
applying a double
seemingly so,
standard.
Rumi?
I'm sorry, Labiana, but go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but okay. I wasn't here before, so I don't know about that. But anyways, when you hear something happens, when you see something happen, when you feel something happen, you assume that it happened unless you have a reason otherwise. That is the case for the historical disciples of Christ. They saw him die, therefore they believed that he died. Therefore they wrote that he died, or they transmitted that he died. They didn't have a reason to think that he didn't die. The only reason we have to say that he didn't die is because of the supernatural revelation in the 7th century. Because we confirm the Quran comes from God using internal and external means, therefore anything it says is true. And because we have reason to think that the Quran is from God, therefore we have reason to think Jesus didn't die in reality. But if it wasn't revealed, then we would think Jesus died, because we have no other reason to think that he didn't. So that's your question answered right away. Now, you didn't address how scholars apply the historical critical method to the life of Christ. There are a few criteria. There's a criteria of contextual credibility, which I just used, by the way, to establish the first century views of the Messiah. There's the criteria of dissimilarity. There's the criteria of independent attestation. And then there's the criteria of embarrassment. Okay? Now, when it comes to the internal data, it's inconsistent. Why? Because we see that supposedly Christ, without parables, without ambiguous language, predicts and prophesizes his passion. And he says it multiple times. He will be arrested, flogged, crucified, and on the third day, he will rise up again. Now, naturalistically and psychologically, if you have a group of 12, and that's just the main ones, he had many apostles, he sent out the 70, many people were following him, he was like a celebrity. If he had told them over and over again that the Son of Man will be captured, flogged, crucified, and on the third day he will rise again, and he said this without using any ambiguous terminology, he didn't say this in Harry Potter terminology, he said this very clearly, over and over again. You see this in Mark, in the Jerusalem tradition. You see this in Matthew, in the Jerusalem tradition. All right? Now the question stands. If that is the case, even if you want to posit that they doubted, or he opened up their minds to scripture afterward, even if you want to posit all those ad hoc responses, naturalistically, if I'm following somebody, I left my whole family, left my work, I spent 3 years with this guy. We went every event to me preaching. I went against my whole family. I was persecuted. God raised the dead in front of my eyes. Even if I doubted him, if he told me that the very point of his messiahship is to be captured, flogged, crucified, when those things happen as he had said, it would give me more reason to believe him, not to doubt him. Everybody would agree. The problem is, when these things do happen, the disciples flee and they disbelieve in his messiahship. As a matter of fact, in the Gospel of Luke, when Jesus is crucified, you know what the disciples say? Oh my God, we had thought that he would be the one to restore Israel. We really thought he was going to be the Messiah. I guess he's not the Messiah after all. Which makes no sense if he had told them the whole point of him being the Messiah is to be flogged, resurrected, and crucified. And on the third day, they don't even go and check if he was bluffing. They don't even go and check if he really did raise up. It's as if they had no idea. And when the women who on the third day go, they don't go to check if he rose up. They go to anoint his body, expecting his body will be there. Okay, no problem. They were doubting. They didn't believe him. Okay. When they get there and the body isn't there, you know what the first thing that comes to mind is? Guess what? Somebody stole his body, they say. Now, if he had told them over and over again, I will rise on the third day, I will be crucified, I will be flogged, why would the first thing come to mind? Why would it be somebody stole his body? And why would the disciples not even bother to check on the third day? Because of this internal inconsistency and because of the criteria of dissimilarity. Now I'm going to mention the consensus because I provided the evidence. So it's not an ad populum fallacy. It's not an appeal to authority. I mentioned the evidence. That is why the likes of E.P. Sanders, the likes of Geza Vermes, the likes of Bart Ehrman, the likes of John Dominic Crossan, the likes of James D. Tabor, all of these scholars of the historical Christ unanimously agree that the predictions of a death and resurrection are later additions by the post-Easter church. And at best, Jesus, the historical Jesus, anticipated his death, anticipated that he would die in the last week that he's in Jerusalem, not that he predicted it. I want you to respond to my evidence, please.
And yeah, this is fine. I can address everything. So from the start, they tried to say, well, Rumi is inconsistent here. He will speak about phenomenal conservatism, and now like he's questioning it, right? This is very simple to address. You have so phenomenal conservatism states that you have a reason to believe in P unless like defeaters or good reasons to doubt. But you guys do have good reason to doubt your senses, right? If God deceives, or you can say he can make something seem to be the case, which is not the actual case, and he does this with like disbelievers or believers, for example. So that point is addressed. Second, you brought the well, I can't remember all of them in order, but I can go through all of them. You mentioned the point about why was the woman there? Think about people stole his body and stuff like that. Well, this is simple. People are going to assume naturalistic means, right, based on their priors, that it was some naturalistic explanation until the evidence gives them some epistemic warrant to believe otherwise. So the women didn't believe, and then some more evidence came into the case, and then they did believe. Same with such as Thomas, right, in the Gospel of John, where he says, "The Lord of me, the God of me," right, "My Lord, my God," right, because he touched him. So based on his praise, he didn't believe, and then on the posteriors, he did believe. So stuff like that. And then you bring up the example of some clear verses in the Gospels. We can see clear verses where Christ claimed to be crucified and stuff like this. John chapter 2, he speaks about this. He also speaks about this in Matthew chapter 23. He also speaks about this in the Gospel of Luke. Or you can point to other instances as well within the four Gospels, or even in St. Paul's letters, the earliest ones you have. So yes, based on our priors, right, but you switch from historical to natural, right? First, we speak about the historical critical method, but the historical critical method doesn't necessarily imply, right, that you can have still miracles, because they still believe there's chances of miracles even with the historical critical method. Remember, your claim was that the historical critical method would deny these things, but we can still accept miracles even using the HCM, so that doesn't work either. You implied that, he might have alluded to, or stuff like this. He didn't necessarily predict his method, his death, which still is an issue for you, because if he alluded to or said it right, then he still proves like the Islam is false here, because Jesus can't say something that is clearly contrary to reality, as you stated. He can't say something contrary to reality, as you stated, right? Or he would have made him a false prophet, right? Remember what Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 21 to 22 says, that if there is a false prophet, or if there's a prophet and he does false prophecies, then surely you put him to death. So if Jesus makes some prediction, or he makes some apparent allusion to his death, and you grant that this is what Jesus actually says, then you still have the issue there. You also brought up scholars and stuff like that. Yeah, they're assuming naturalism. They're not denying the historical critical method. The historical critical method is something completely different to this, right? You can still hold to the HCM and still accept miracles. Then you bring up the examples of why do the apostles or the people around him, right? Why do they just deny him even after he's done all these miracles? The answer is because Christ says this. Christ says that this will happen to them, and he even says that even when people see all these miracles, they should surely still disbelieve, right? You can see this in Luke 18:8 when Christ comes back. He knows that many people disbelieve in him, or you can see this with the example of St. Peter, right? St. Peter clearly makes our Lord, right, clearly makes it clear that St. Peter will deny his faith 3 times. So this is not unexpected under the Christian hypothesis. All of this is expected under the Christian hypothesis, what you're proclaiming. But what's not expected under the historical hypothesis, or the naturalistic hypothesis that you're promoting, is the idea is they first reject him, that he did die and rose from the dead, and second, they did accept it, right? So such as many people around him, and then also your prediction or your hypothesis doesn't predict the understanding of how the Christianity rapidly grow through nations, through all world, right? If it's so clear that there was a dead Messiah, right? Or your prediction or your hypothesis doesn't show the evidence that shows that our people witness he didn't really die after, right? All of this is not predicted under your hypothesis, but is predicted under mine. So you can deal with all them points.
All right, Rumi.
Yo.
I appreciate it, Rumi.
One sec.
That was wild. Go ahead.
You know what's so funny right now?
Though. You hit a world record.
Even the Christians in the comments know this guy is not responding. All right, so I don't know why you went to Deuteronomy 18. That's funny. I didn't say Jesus alluded to his death. I said Jesus at best anticipated his death. Meaning because of the dangers of his claims and because of the dangers of the claims of his prophethood and messiahship, when he went to Jerusalem in the last week of his life to celebrate the Passover, which likely thousands of Jews from all over the world were coming to Jerusalem, to the temple there to celebrate Passover, and he was going there to preach apocalypticism, he likely would have anticipated trouble. And he would have anticipated that he would die. I didn't say he alluded to him being dead. But since you quoted Deuteronomy 18, let's see if you're going to stand firm on that. Deuteronomy 18 says, if a prophet speaks something in the name of the Lord that the Lord hasn't spoken, that prophet is a false prophet. Okay, cool. Now, in the book of, Samuel? Yeah, in the book of 2 Samuel, David now takes the throne. And David says, God has granted me a very big throne, a very big kingdom, a very big house. And the Lord is still in a tabernacle, in a small tent. So I'm going to go ahead and build the Lord a big temple. Nathan the prophet says, do as you please. Do what's in your head, for the Lord is with thee. Rumi, unmute yourself. Did Nathan speak in the name of the Lord here?
Make all your points and an address.
Did Nathan speak in the name of the Lord? I just need a yes or no.
Can you do with all your points and an address?
All right, so he's not going to answer because he knows he baked himself. So Nathan, you said you're not going to answer, right? It's okay.
Wait, give the first.
Sorry?
Give the first.
Okay, let me pull it up. Here. It is, let me just, 2 Samuel 7, verse 3. That's where it is. 2 Samuel 7.
Okay, give me a second. Let me go and read it.
Yep, go ahead. So while he does that, I'll finish my point. All right. So David tells Nathan that he wants to build a temple for God. Because he's been in a tabernacle. He's been in a tent the whole time. So Nathan the prophet says, go ahead and do it, David, for Yahweh is with you. The next verse, Yahweh reveals revelation to Nathan, telling him he messed up and that he spoke something wrong and that Solomon is the one to build the temple, not David. Wow, Rumi. Wow, is Nathan a false prophet? Nice, man. So anyways, this is a complete diversion from the topic. Okay, the topic is that he's like, oh, you're assuming naturalism. Isn't that what the HCM is, Rumi? Or did you forget what you're arguing? Did you forget we're talking about the HCM? You're assuming natural. Yeah, no shit. We're talking about the HCM. Historically speaking, assuming naturalism, assuming the historical critical method, right? Christ did not predict his death and resurrection. Now, I need you to respond to something that you're not responding to. You kept saying, oh, well, they doubted, they disbelieved. I granted you that, no problem. It's okay, no problem. They had doubt, they disbelieved, no problem. So now, Rumi, answer this. Christ prophesied every step of his crucifixion and resurrection. Yes or no?
Yes.
Beautiful. Did every step happen as he predicted it?
Yes, based on the correct interpretation, yes.
Beautiful. When those things happened, did the disciples believe in him more or believe in him less?
It depends. Like after, well, so like when he did the miracles, then some of them started to believe.
Not talking about the miracles. I'm talking about his arrest, his flogging, his death on the cross.
Yes, they believed in him.
And they believed in him more or less when those things happened?
More.
Huh?
More.
More? So why does the Gospel of Luke say when Jesus died on the cross, it says we had hoped him to be the one that will restore Israel? Why did they deny he's the Messiah?
Because they didn't believe, right, that he fulfilled the prophecy.
You said they believed in him more when those things happened.
Yeah, and the reason why, right, they said they hoped, they believed that he would fulfill Israel is because of the other reasons, right? They didn't think that he was going to fulfill it later on, but then they was confirmed by it when they did testimony with each other.
Just
Not
1
that,
second.
like,
What you're saying isn't adding up. Jesus said, I'm the Messiah, and me being the Messiah, I'm going to be arrested, flogged, crucified, and on the third day I will rise. When he is arrested, they run away from him. They disown him. When he is flogged and crucified, they say, okay, he's not the Messiah because he got crucified. If he had predicted that his very messianic goal or messianic mission is to be crucified, why did they deny him to be the Messiah when he was crucified?
Because of the pressure around him with the persecution, just like how
You said they believed in him more.
Can I finish? Yeah. I'm not saying that, right? I'm saying first, because of the persecution around him with Peter, for example, and second, they still did believe, right? That's why after the third day, that's why they have faith with him, and that's why they died for their faith.
Okay, cool. So did they believe in him more or less?
I told you how I explained.
So they believed in him more?
How I explained, yes.
All right. So did they deny that he's the Messiah when he died?
Based on the persecution around him, yes.
I thought they believed in him more.
And I explained how they did.
All right. How did they believe in him more?
Because they died for their faith.
What? Bro, we're not there yet. We're still talking. We're still talking at the death of Christ.
So they did believe in him more, correct?
Yeah, that's after. That begs the question. You're begging the question. Yeah, I'm talking up until his death. Resurrection hasn't happened yet. Up until his death, everything that he said would happen has already happened. Up until then, right?
Yes.
Good. Does that cause them to believe more in what he's claiming or less in what he's claiming?
Well, you would expect more, right? For them to believe, and that's what they did. But then, when he did die, right, they didn't believe, and that was due to the persecution and everything around him, because they didn't expect it.
All right, just hold on there. He said he would die, right?
Correct.
And he said he would be arrested and flogged, right?
Correct.
So based on the posteriors, they should believe in him more, right?
No, I don't grant based on the posteriors.
So they shouldn't believe in him more?
No, you said based on the posteriors.
All right, so you just backtracked. You just backtracked. So earlier they did believe in him more. Now they don't believe in him more.
No, I'm not denying that. I said they do believe in him more, right? But
I'm talking up until his death. Up until his death. Do they believe in him more or less?
Yes, they believed in him more as time went on.
No, up until his death. No resurrection accounts yet. Up until his death. Because everything is being fulfilled as he had already previously predicted, they should believe in him more. Correct, Rumi?
Yes, unless there's evidence present to show why not. And just like
cool. What's the evidence present to show why not?
Can I finish? Just like the example with Peter, right? Just like the example with Peter, they had pressure to deny him. So even though, right, Peter saw Jesus did miracles and everything, and he had more faith in him, because Christ alluded that there was going to be a prophecy such as alluded to what's going to happen with him, such as him denying him 3 times, then you would expect him to deny it. So just because they believed in him more at the start doesn't mean there's going to be other evidence that points to it that he doesn't believe in it.
Beautiful. Peter, you see how he just equivocated? Peter denied him in front of the authorities to save his ass from trouble. Peter didn't deny him in reality. He just denied him in front of men. So that's why when they asked him, do you know who this guy is? Peter says, I have no idea who he is. And he does it 3 times. All right. But Peter doesn't actually disbelieve in him. Peter does not deny him. I'm talking about when the disciples are speaking amongst each other and say, oh, well, he's not the Messiah anymore. So I need you to answer me this.
What verse is that?
One sec.
What verse is it?
It's in Luke. Here, let's pull it up. It's getting hot in the pot, man. It's getting hot. We had hoped he would be the one to restore Israel. Luke 24:21. So he says, we had hoped that he was the one that was going to redeem Israel. And what is more, it is the third day since all this took place. Okay? So the disciples say, we had hoped that he would be the one to redeem Israel. Okay? And we haven't even gotten to the juicy parts, right? Because you failed to respond to why the disciples, even if they doubted, even if they thought that he was full of it, even if they had little faith, what is psychologically expected, that if I'm with somebody for 3 years and I'm seeing him do all these amazing things, and he's saying he's the Messiah, and he's saying that he's supposed to come and die for my sins, and on the third day he will rise. What is expected is that on the third day they will be waiting on their tippy toes until the third day comes so they can go and check if he was bluffing or not, even if they had little faith. But they don't. Rather, women go to anoint the body, already expecting that the body would be there. And when the body isn't there, the first thing that pops up in their head is somebody stole the body. Now, even if again, you could say they had little faith, they doubted, you could say whatever you want. The point is, even if that was the case, you would still expect them to recall the memory, very recent memory. Oh wait, he did tell us that he would rise on the third day. Did he really rise? No, they think the body is stolen. That is why it's historically implausible. And that is why you got caught up in a pickle and you got destroyed, Rumi. With all due respect, you stick to philosophy, right? Because you run this terrible argument and you get caught by simple things like this.
Do you want me to respond, or is this
just respond, bros? Don't be a bot. Just talk. You could just talk.
Yeah, I can respond to your points.
Just respond. Have a conversation, man. Just respond.
That's fine. Due to the crucifixion and the resurrection being the greatest of all miracles that is performed, little people, even after they witness seeing certain things such as water turning to wine, and they can still disbelieve in other things such as somebody being raised on the third day. And because they are not used to, or they haven't seen it unless they did witness incidents with Lazarus, right, then it's likely they still won't believe in this, right? So just because...
I already granted you that.
Can I finish?
No, we're having a convo, dude. Just have a conversation.
Yeah, you literally spoke for 7
but
minutes.
I don't want to do this talking sections. Just talk. It's better that way. The conversation can proceed.
Spoke for 7 minutes.
I understand, but let's just talk back and forth. Just talk, man. It's better that way. Let's just talk back and forth. I don't want to. Yeah, let's just talk.
Name one point and let's go over it.
All right. The point is, if Jesus had predicted everything that would happen until his death, why would the disciples disbelieve rather than believe more?
Why would they disbelieve? Okay, the reason why is because they would assume, right, people don't rise from the dead. Would you agree?
What?
People don't rise from the dead.
No, they don't assume that.
Yes, of course.
They don't. They have a belief of a resurrection.
No, not if if it's a supernatural thing, just because somebody performs a couple of miracles doesn't necessarily follow that they would assume that Christ will raise.
Was one of the miracles rising Lazarus from the dead?
Yes, they did believe that,
All right.
right?
So they had that
So-
belief. Thank you very much. So
No,
continue now.
they saw. Look, the difference is that they saw Jesus performing this miracle. Right? They
Yeah.
saw that God performed this miracle, right? By
Yeah.
raising Lazarus from the dead. The
Yeah.
difference is because they didn't expect Jesus to raise himself from the dead, right? And they saw the crucifixion, and they saw
who said-
the
who
event
said-
taking place.
Who said that Jesus would rise himself from the dead?
It says God raised him from the dead, correct?
Yeah, so God raised him.
Okay, there you go.
Good.
That's your answer. So he did.
Continue.
So
All
again,
right, continue.
again, because they didn't believe that somebody's going to raise himself from the dead, right? Then that's the issue they have. Did Lazarus raise himself from the dead?
No, and Jesus didn't raise
Okay.
himself from the dead either. You think the Father raised him from the dead?
Well, all three persons do the one act or inseparable operations.
Yeah, that's just anachronism.
It doesn't beg the question.
That's anachronism. That's anachronism.
How's the
The text says the Father raised him from the dead.
And all three
Okay.
persons do this
No.
one act. John 5.
Yeah, again, that's anachronistic.
No, John 5:19. All three persons do the one act.
Yeah, but this goes back to what I told you about begging theology or having
It's not
a bias
begging
toward
theology. It's not at all.
So when the verse says that the Father did it, the Son did it too.
Yeah, have you read John 2, verse
Well,
1
I'm
to
reading the
9?
one in Galatians, and it says that the Father is the one who did it.
Yeah, and all three persons do it. Read John chapter
Okay,
2.
so when it
Jesus,
says the Father did it, it says that all three persons did it.
the Father, we know based on other verses that all three persons do it.
Yeah, but we also know based on that verse. Where did Libiano go?
I don't know, but John
I think he dropped.
Hold on,
I think
hold
he
on.
had a phone call. I don't know.
All right, let's get back to the convo. My phone died. My bad. So the convo was you're just diverging. Okay, you're diverging, but it doesn't matter.
No,
the
because
point still
stands.
just let me finish. The point still stands. Okay, even if you say that they completely didn't expect that Jesus would rise up from the dead as he told them. Okay, that's no problem. The point is this. Okay, Jesus said he would be flogged. Was he flogged?
Correct.
Jesus said he would be arrested. Was he arrested?
Yes, just because
Jesus, what? Well, stop. Let me finish. Jesus said he would be crucified. Was he crucified?
Yes.
Good. And all of this proves that he's
Jesus did say he was
Wait,
crucified.
Wait, and all of this proves that he's the Messiah, right?
Yeah, it points. Well, not just on its own, but yeah, this is evidence.
Okay, cool. Up until here, they should have more reason to think he's the Messiah, right?
Yes.
Do they reject that he's the Messiah?
When he died, yes.
Okay, but you just said they have.
Yeah, but they.
You just
yeah, but
you
the
just said
reason-
it. You just said if he was flogged, arrested, and died, there is more reason to think that he's the Messiah.
Yeah, and the reason why they rejected him, right, is because of the claims that he made further in the claims that he made of raising from the dead. They didn't expect that, right? Just because
That's fine,
can I finish? Look, you said it's gonna be a conversation.
Yo,
Let-
he's
let me
actually
finish.
not. You're actually
No,
panicking right
look.
now.
Okay, if this makes you sleep at night.
All
Just
right,
because somebody makes 5 or 6 predictions that are naturalistic and they're all met, doesn't mean that somebody has justification to believe in a supernatural thing. For example, right, if you have your mother and your mother says like loads of true statements and everything, and then your mother says something like, I produce something like the Quran or something, then you have sufficient reason to disbelieve in that statement, either because of your religious beliefs or other beliefs, right? So the point is, just because you have sufficient reason or you get more good reasons to believe in X based on naturalistic things doesn't mean you have like sufficient reason to believe when a supernatural thing has occurred or will occur. Right?
Okay,
So
cool.
When Jesus can, when
Rumi,
Jesus,
you're not addressing the
I
point,
did
Rumi.
address what you said.
You're not. I'll tell you why. Up until his death, is there any reason to think he's not the Messiah?
It depends, right? Such as if the people are persecuting him. Yeah, there's reasons.
The
There's not reasons
wait.
to
The people are persecuting
believe in
who?
it.
Wait, just one sec. Hold on. The people are persecuting who?
The people that are persecuting the Christians.
How does that? He tells them that they'll be persecuted.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that they will still believe in
Yeah,
it.
but how does
Just
that?
because-
Just one sec. Just hold on. How does them being persecuted make Jesus' claim less credible?
Because they care, or they cared more about the people that was around him and everything.
Yeah. Wait, what is the bro? What
I
does
think
that
it
have
would-
to do? Just hold on, Rumi. You're actually big, dude. Just don't stop talking
Look,
about history.
look,
All right, so
look,
Rumi,
very-
just
it's
wait.
very simple.
All
Did,
right, it's not.
can I-
We'll see.
can I-
We'll see.
let me give-
Wait,
let me
Rumi,
give
just
you an example.
let me respond. Let me respond.
Let me give you an example. If
All right,
somebody
man.
has sufficient reason, look, Christians have sufficient reason to believe. Let's say there's Christians, and they have sufficient reason to believe in like the prophecies that are fulfilled by Christ and everything, and the death and the resurrection of Christ. They have sufficient reason to believe in Christianity, correct?
Yeah, the post-Easter church. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine, right?
Yeah.
And even if they do that, they can still lose faith, correct?
Yeah, that's not analogous.
No, can I finish? Right, so
Yeah.
even though they have good reasons, right,
Yeah.
they can still disbelieve because Christ makes this prediction in
Yeah,
Luke 18.
they could disbelieve, and they're justified in disbelieving because there must be a different reason or another reason as to why they would reject him. The point is, okay, Jesus up until there, right, does everything the Messiah is supposed to do, correct?
Yes,
Cool. Why did they say he's not the Messiah?
because he died and they didn't.
Okay,
they
wait,
didn't-
stop there. Because he died, right?
Yeah,
Did he say the Messiah would die?
yeah,
So why would they disbelieve in him?
because they still didn't expect these things to happen.
Even if they didn't, you're not getting the point.
Yeah,
Even
it
if they had low faith, even if they doubted, the point still stands. Jesus says the Messiah is supposed to die. So
Yeah,
when
just
he
look-
dies, that is not a reason to think he's not the Messiah,
No,
because
look,
he
just
said the
because
Messiah is
it's-
supposed to die.
You know, isn't it? Yeah, just because they see these things, it can make it a little less plausible under my hypothesis, but due to the other evidence, it raises mine and the posteriors.
Okay, cool. So on this point, it weakens your hypothesis, right?
On certain amount of evidence, not holistically, yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks for the concession. Now,
That's not a concession.
you just conceded.
Look,
You literally
just
just conceded.
okay, look, it's very simple. If
Hey, bro,
that-
what? Hey, don't panic. It's all right, bro.
Wait.
Don't panic.
Bro, that's hilarious.
Hey, Rumi,
Wait, so
don't panic.
Do you think?
Rumi.
Do you
Hey, Rumi,
think-
it's okay. You lost. It's all right,
Wait,
man.
do you think?
Just
leave it
wait.
alone.
What? Why are you panicking?
Let me ask you a question. All
All
if
right,
if I show you one verse, right, and this verse under parallel shows, let's say, the pre-existence of Jesus, right, hypothetically, it weakens your hypothesis or weakens like a Unitarian's hypothesis.
No,
but based on all
because
the
you assume it to be historical. It doesn't weaken my hypothesis if it's not historical.
No, I'm saying, let's say a Trinitarian is debating a Unitarian, right?
Yeah.
And a Trinitarian points to a verse where Jesus pre-existed, right? Or it seems to be pre-existed
Yeah.
based on this one verse alone, right?
Yeah.
Then you can say this weakens the hypothesis based on this verse alone.
Yeah.
But based on
Yeah,
all the
only
evidence,
under the Trinitarian interpretation. Yeah.
there is
The
Unitarian.
the verse itself doesn't. But you just said if they're arguing about pre-existence, then he doesn't need to show a verse that Jesus pre-existed. Oh my God, you literally can't track your own analogy.
Wait, you don't know anything.
You literally
Do
can't
know-
track your
do
own
you know-
analogy.
Wait,
Rumi, stop.
Do you know
Can you?
Unitarians? Wait, do you know Unitarians believe in pre-existence? Correct?
Some Unitarians believe in pre-existence and
Okay,
some
so
don't.
a
The whole
Unitarian- Okay.
Rumi, why would a Trinitarian bring a verse to prove pre-existence if the Unitarian already believes in pre-existence?
Because pre-existence proves Jesus is God.
No, it doesn't. They already believe in
Yeah.
pre-existence. They don't think he's God.
Yeah, it does.
Only under the Trinitarian
No,
interpretation.
if you.
Oh
if
my
you
God,
grant
Rumi, you can't
pre-existence-
track your own
No,
analogies,
if
dude.
you
It's so
grant
embarrassing.
pre-existence,
You
wait, if
actually
grant
can't.
Let me
Oh
finish.
my-
Let me finish.
Look, even Reductio's laughing at you, bro.
Yeah, if you grant pre-existence, you have to grant he's God by
I
the
don't,
person
no,
else,
you don't have to grant that he's God.
Yeah, you do. I say
You don't
44.
have to grant that he's God. So let
Isaiah
me,
44.
no, even Isaiah 44 doesn't prove it. I'm gonna.
Yeah, it does. Isaiah
Hey,
44.
Rumi, I'm gonna destroy you on biblical matters.
Wait, Isaiah
Don't even
44,
try.
24.
Yeah, what
Isaiah
is this? I'm the first and the last.
No, Isaiah 44:24. Don't you know the verse?
What is the verse?
It says God existed there alone.
Okay, and
Okay.
how does that mean anything?
Okay, if can Jesus pre-exist alone?
Yeah.
Can Jesus pre-exist with God if God says he pre-exists alone?
Yeah, because this guy just baked himself. Unitarians that believe in pre-existence think that Jesus at one point didn't exist.
No, not all
Oh
of
my
them.
God! Just stop!
all of them.
Stop! You're so
No,
embarrassing.
because look.
Rumi,
because if you read-
just stop!
if
Stop!
you
Don't
read-
panic. Rumi,
no.
don't panic.
Why are
Rumi,
you
don't
running?
panic.
Why are you running?
Rumi, stop. Rumi, stop. Rumi, let me speak. Rumi,
Wow.
I know you're panicking. Don't panic. Even your friends are laughing at you in the comments. Rumi, do Arians believe in pre-existence?
Some of them do. Depends on the view of pre-existence you say.
The view of Arius himself. Does he believe in pre-existence?
Yeah.
Does he think Jesus is a creature?
Yes.
So God did exist alone at one point, right?
Yes, he did exist.
Baked!
Yeah, but
Baked!
that's not look, pre-existence.
It's so embarrassing,
Can I
dude.
finish? Pre-existence.
Oh my God.
Pre-existence, which I'm referring to, is the one in Hebrews 1:10.
Hebrews 1:10 doesn't
Yeah.
prove that Jesus pre-existed all creatures because he's a creature
Yeah, it
himself.
does.
It doesn't.
He says that he created the heavens and earth.
That's fine. He could be created and then create the heavens and the earth.
No, because if you read Isaiah, he says God created the heavens and earth, right?
Yeah, you're assuming univocality with the text. That's point number one. Point number two. Let me finish. Even with assuming univocality as a Unitarian, that's fine, because when they say God created, they're just saying that God is the one who's the ultimate source of creation, meaning that Christ was just a mere tool of creation. It is only the Father who's creator of himself. So you just got destroyed and smoked. So let me finish. Well, you're assuming Trinitarian understanding. So you So let me finish.
So you can assume agency.
Let me finish. I'm not assuming agency. That's what the text says.
Okay,
It says. Let me finish. You see how you ran away from the historical point about Jesus. Now you're arguing about Hebrews.
No,
it's okay. I could demolish you on Hebrews too. Don't worry. I got enough baked goods in the bakery, man. Don't worry. I got you, man. We could do this all day. Rumi, the fact of the matter is I mog you in any biblical topic. That's just everybody knows that. So don't you're way out of your depth on this one. Stick to ADS and believing in an eternal rock that doesn't speak or move. Okay? So
eternal rock.
Yes. Stick to that. Maybe you're decent at that. Stick to that. Stick to that.
You stick to the belief that God has hands and feet.
Just like the prophets did. Absolutely. Yeah. I will
just
do.
Like how the Targums say the
I will do. I will
Wait,
do
the
that.
Targums say the complete opposite.
I will do. No, they don't. The Targums don't say the complete opposite. The Targums. Let me finish. Even if the Targums did, the Targums are second century Aramaic translations of the Hebrew Bible. I don't have to grant you that the Targum interpretation is that of the prophets. That's just not an argument. Let me finish, man. Even if I were to grant you that the Targums avoids anthropomorphic language, right, and attributes some things to the arm of God or to the memra of God to avoid anthropomorphism, it doesn't follow that the interpretation of Targum Jonathan and Targum Onkelos and other Targums is that of the prophets themselves. That's just a non sequitur. But anyways, can we please get back on topic?
Yeah, go
Everybody sees that you're getting clapped.
No, it's fine, get back on topic.
All right, perfect. So you already conceded that lowers the probability of your hypothesis. Now,
based on one, not on all the evidence, but based on some.
Now, can you? Is there any first century view of a suffering Messiah who will die for the world's sins?
What do you mean by that?
Is there any Jewish community in the first century or in the Second Temple period who thought that the Messiah would come and die for the world's sins?
As you stated, we don't have anything in the first century, so...
We do. We have the Dead Sea Scroll community.
Earlier you just said we don't have anything.
We don't have anything of what?
You said that from the Targums, they're all 2nd century, correct?
What? I said the Targums are 2nd or 1st century interpretations. I didn't say that we don't
Yeah,
have
so
anything.
they're going to be the interpretations of the Old Testament, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so
What does this have to do with what I asked?
Well, yeah, because you're asking, do we have any Jews that believe in the suffering of the?
Yeah, do we have any pre-Jesus interpretations or independent of Christianity interpretations where you have a suffering servant and not a warrior or a cosmic judge who comes and removes the evil forces and restores Israel? Is there any other interpretation besides this?
I don't think that's assuming there is any pre-Jesus interpretation.
There is. We have the Pharisaic interpretations. We have Let me finish. We have. You see, you're not read up on this. This is why you get. This is why you don't get. This is why you don't get into conversations that you can't handle. You're not read up on this. Just go study.
Dated to the 1st century.
Sorry.
Prove they dated to the 1st century.
They date what? The Dead Sea Scroll community doesn't date to the 1st century? Are you stupid or stupid?
No, you didn't say the Dead Sea Scroll community.
That's one of them. That's one of the interpretations of the Messiah. We have the Dead Sea Scrolls. We have the scrolls of the Dead Sea Scroll community of the what do you call it? Of the Essenes, okay? Of the Qumran cave. We have their writings. We have what they thought the Messiah. They believed in priestly Messiah. They believed in a Messiah ben Yosef, Messiah ben David. They thought that both of them are human warriors that will come, wage war on the enemies of Israel, restore Israel, right? Then we have Josephus's writings. The point, and we have even within the New Testament, the disciples themselves bear witness that they expected Jesus to be a king. They tried to put a crown over him. They asked him, when are you going to, restore Israel? So even within the Gospels, that view is prevalent amongst the Pharisees and the disciples. So yes, we do have that view. So let me get to my point. Okay, the point is, you don't have an idea of a dying, suffering servant until post-Easter church. Now, using the criteria of dissimilarity and the criteria of contextual credibility, this would make sense if the followers of Jesus who believed him to be the Messiah, but he died, now needed to explain how the Messiah could possibly die. As Paul says, the Messiah is a crucified Messiah is a stumbling block to the Jews, right? They needed to explain how on earth could there be a crucified, a dead Messiah. And the explanation is to go back into the scripture to find out vague references of a dying, suffering servant like Isaiah 53, Psalm 22, and retell Jesus' story in light of those prophecies. That's why you have John's gospel rewriting Jesus' story in light of Psalm 22. That's why you have Matthew rewriting Jesus' story in light of Isaiah, right? For example, you have Jesus saying, oh, and they cast out his clothes and his lot. You find the exact identical thing in Psalm 22. Why? Because John is rewriting Jesus' story in light of those prophecies. So the best possible explanation, given the internal evidence, given that the disciples seem to have no idea about Jesus rising on the third day, not expecting it whatsoever, not even taking the time to go and check if he was going to rise. Given the internal and external data, it follows that Jesus probably did not predict his death and resurrection. And that is why it is consensus. That is why basically every scholar of the early historical Jesus says that these are made up by the post-Easter church. And Rumi, I suggest that you go study up on this. You're too focused on divine simplicity, and you're pretty much an atheist. You don't believe in God. You're not, let's be honest, you don't believe in God. You're an atheist. You don't even believe in Jesus, okay? You don't read the Gospels. You're not familiar with the Gospels. So do us all a favor and go maybe read up on that.
Well, how is that me? First, I'm clearly not an atheist. then don't see why anybody would believe that. But I can like still deal with all your points. Like first there were people in the first century that did believe in the crucifixion and resurrection, right? Such as First Clement. First Clement is clearly attestation to that. And just because there is little evidence, but there is certain interpretations from the Jews, even though it's written after the 2nd century, it's orally passed down and written down later that the Messiah would die. So that doesn't work either. Another point is that we do have Jews that believed in the death and resurrection. Otherwise, why would St. Paul be debating the Jews, writing like Galatians or certain sects in Galatians, right, that do it? And second, we have tradition, right, that goes back, or we have the tradition that understands this. Like, it's very simple. With Moses, when scripture was first revealed, God came and presented himself through the angel of the Lord to the people to understand the scripture. That's why they have the written tradition and oral tradition. But then when the Jews corrupted it, right, passed down later, God came and revealed himself again to show continuity and then show the true interpretation. So that's another point that you can answer with. And then you do have certain interpretations of either Isaiah 42 or Isaiah 53 that explain this. So your argument is saying, well, if we have really low, so your argument was, if we have so low evidence showing that these Old Testament verses in Isaiah 42, Isaiah 53, Psalms 22, that points to the Messiah was meant to die and resurrect, plus we have certain amount of the view of the apostles that they didn't believe in him, then we can say that it's highly improbable that Jesus did die and he resurrected, right? First, the historical critical method would just argue that they did believe he died, but not he resurrected. Second, we see that there's other evidence that raises the priors of this, such as the mass conversion, or we see, which shows that it's more likely, it's more parsimonious, under my view, that this would happen, that people would accept it. Second, we have evidence from the 1st century, such as First Clement, or even, I believe maybe they did the Cable, could be wrong with that. You also have the issue with certain Jews and certain rabbis that did believe in the crucifixion and resurrection. Or why did Jews convert? Right, you have the issue with why did Jews convert to Christianity if this was not the case? Or you have the issue with Trypho and Justin Martyr. Trypho, when Justin Martyr is debating him, and this point is brought up, right, then we would surely see that Trypho would put St. Justin Martyr to death, but that didn't happen either. So because we have certain interpretations from the Jews, either in the first gospel, which is Genesis, the view of the book of Isaiah, right? I said certain verses in Isaiah, or in the book of Psalms 8, or in Psalms 22, and we see that it lines up well with the New Testament, and we see that the mass conversion of Jews, it is more probable. Like you just saying that, we have certain evidence, yeah, but based on it holistically, and based on how is the evidence that you give can be explained in light of my view, but the evidence I bring can't be explained in light of your view, shows that your view is wrong. So that there is clear issues here under your view.
Heard you answer anything. You just keep gibberating about nothing, dude. You're not answering. All right,
Wait,
let's address. Nobody knows what you said. That's the problem. You mumble and you mumble. Let me finish. You mumble and you pronounce your words, sir. Let's do some exercises together. Let's make sure we're pronouncing our words instead of eating our words. Nobody understands you here, bro. So let me respond to what you said. You said, "Oh, many Jews converted." Oh, wow. That's if you're copying from Vienna, by the way. So my Muslim brother Vienna is your teacher, copying his notes, but applying them to Christianity. Good job. You think I don't know that? You're reading off of Vienna's notes? So let's address that. He said, "Oh, well, look, Jews were converting." Oh, nice. So can you please tell me, Rumi, Why is Christianity a failure amongst Jewish communities and so prevalent amongst Gentile communities? Rumi, why is that?
I didn't take off Vienna. We would need to substantiate
Can you
that.
answer the question?
Okay.
Is Christianity prevalent amongst Jewish communities?
Not all Jewish communities, no. Like the Orthodox Jews, no. And do you know
Thank you very much.
Why?
Is it prevalent amongst Greek pagan communities?
Pagan means a non-Christian, so
Yeah. You know what I'm saying. You don't need to be a sophist.
no, it's not prevalent among the Islamic communities, no.
All right, which Jewish church thrived in the early church?
The Corinthians.
The Corinthians was a Jewish church?
The Corinthians, yeah. It was originally.
Wait, the church at Corinth was Jewish?
It was originally, yeah.
Can you please show me the evidence for that?
Outside of the 1st and 2nd Corinthians.
Yeah, what's the evidence that the church at Corinth was filled with Jews and established by Jews? Are you just making shit up?
No, I'm not making anything up.
All right, so what's the evidence that the church at Corinth was made full of Jews?
I would need to find some, but you can also.
So why did you say it if you don't have evidence?
No, because you asked outside 1st and 2nd Corinthians, correct?
All right, of course, that's what the New Testament is addressing. Paul is addressing 1st and 2nd Corinthians. Is there any evidence in Paul's address? Just one second. Is there any evidence in Paul's letter to the Corinthians? Also, we have 3rd Corinthians, which the Armenian church accepts, by the way. In 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Corinthians, there's no indication that there's Jews there. Anyway, I'll just continue with my point. All right. So Rumi has showed us, in trying to prove his failed religion, his dead religion, right? He said, oh, well, look, Jews converted. That's, it's ironic because Christianity is a failure amongst Jewish communities. The only place where Christianity didn't succeed is amongst Jews. That's why Christianity thrived based on Greek, ex-pagan, ex-Zeus worshipping populations. It's so funny when Paul is preaching in Acts chapter 14, he's in the city of Laconia, in a Greek town, and he does a miracle preaching the gospel, and they start worshiping him. They say, Paul and Barnabas, you guys are Zeus and Hermes. Wow. You know what they say to him? Which is going to sound very familiar. You know what those Greeks say to Paul and Hermes? They say, the gods have come down in human form. Talking about Paul and Hermes. That sounds very familiar. The gods have come down in human form. That's exactly where Christianity was prevalent. People who believed Zeus and Hermes came down in human form. That's where Christianity became prevalent. So no, the very point that you tried to prove failed. And why did you run away from the historical evidence? Why did you quote me 1 Clement? 1 Clement is a Christian text, sir. Why did you quote me the Didache? The Didache is a post-Easter Christian text. That's not what I asked. By the way, guys, watch this baking. Watch this. Rumi, can you show me anywhere in the Didache, in the teaching of the 12, where the crucifixion is there, or there is an idea of a suffering servant for atonement? Show me that anywhere in the Didache, please.
Let me get up the Didache.
Yeah, get it.
Make sure to like the live, share the live. We're discontinuing.
Wallah, I'm getting brain rot, bro.
It's fine, bro. We're discontinuing the continuity argument. Brother Lubiano here, he's doing an amazing job. So inshallah, like the live, share the live, get it out to everybody so that they know that the continuity argument has been discontinued by the Orthodox Muslim.
Chapter 9.
I'm going to crucify you. Go ahead. Present it.
Yeah, it's the Eucharist.
All right, show me. Watch this, guys. Watch this anachronism that he's gonna spew out of his mouth now. Show me anywhere where the Eucharistic celebration in the Didache has anything to do with Jesus' death and resurrection and blood and new covenant, other than just being Let me finish. Wait. Other than just being a Thanksgiving meal for Jewish Christians who believed in Christ.
No, it's not just a Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah, show me that in the Didache, please.
Yeah, okay, so we understand the Didache came from the 12 apostles.
No,
and
it
how
did.
the 12
Wait. Who's we?
people that are not pagans.
Wait.
Are you,
Hold on. The Didache come from the 12 apostles?
yes.
What's the evidence for that?
Oral tradition.
What oral tradition?
Oral tradition.
Yeah, and what's the evidence? Yeah, what oral tradition? Can you show me where it is?
The oral tradition from the church.
Yeah, let's look at it. Let's talk about it. Where is it?
Do you want a document that says the Didache came from the 12?
Yeah, let's first look at that, and then we'll pick up from there. Go ahead. Let's read it.
You can go to.
No. I don't go. You go. Fine.
So you want a paper ball right now?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Let me get you a paper ball.
Yes, get it, and then let's talk about it. I'm gonna show you how it's gonna embarrass you even further. Rumi, it's just like old days on Clubhouse when I used to crucify you and you'd go crying to Joseph, right?
Nah, Joseph used to the ones that got down.
Just like good old days, man. Just like good old days. All right, just get the oral tradition that you're referring to.
The recordings from back on Clubhouse. We could pull them up, bro. They're still on YouTube.
Sure thing. Will you save the recordings of me? How nice. Okay.
YouTube.
I don't think they're on YouTube.
Yeah, I can find it for you right now. I can find one where Jake absolutely baked you. Anyway, focus on what Libiano's asking for.
That's fine. We can find a clip where Jake didn't know what sort as well.
Just get the oral tradition you're referring to. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Clement of Alexandria, traditional documents say that the paper ball was written by him.
Yeah, where? In the Stromata?
I'm not. I can pull it up. Give me.
Let's pull it up and let's talk about it.
Pope. We'll go to something more explicit. Pope Clement.
Pope Clement?
Yeah, Pope Clement. So you asked for a church document, correct?
Yeah, the oral tradition, wherever you're getting it from.
Yeah, so one proof of the oral tradition that is written down is from Pope Clement.
Okay. And Pope Clement gets this from who?
Wait, so now this is changing? What?
It's not changing. You said it's an oral tradition. I told you let's pull up the oral tradition and talk about it.
No, you asked for evidence, right? So
I told you to bring up the oral tradition, which by the way you still didn't bring. Let's bring up the oral tradition.
Did you not bring Pope Clement?
No, you didn't show me anything. I didn't see anything. But anyways, I'm gonna grant you it. No problem. That's not my argument. My argument is let's first show the oral tradition and we're gonna talk about it. So can you pull it up? My argument isn't that there isn't people who say the Didache is from the 12. Okay? The argument is there's no evidence that the Didache is from the 12. Even if somebody is substantial evidence.
Wait, what evidence do you need? Because evidence depends.
I need. So do you know how attribution works? Right. So how Didache to the 12? See.
Yeah.
What do you mean, how do I or how do you? How does one confirm? I'll tell you. How does one confirm with historical plausibility? Are we lagging? Everybody's saying lag.
Last time, go out of the app and then come back.
Okay, so still lagging?
It's not your guys' fault.
It's just the comments.
Okay. So how does one, with historical plausibility, or come to the conclusion that it's historically plausible that Didache goes to the 12? How does one that?
Depending on the method you use, like my method would be based on like a found-here history.
I want you to convince me of that.
Well, you're going to be more skeptical, so
yeah.
I would have to know your criteria.
I just want you to convince me with historical plausibility.
Yeah, so what do you need for me to convince you?
Okay, so how attribution works, one of the methods of attribution is contemporaries who attribute the Didache to the 12. Let's start there. Is there anybody who does that?
Contemporaries as in the early 2nd century?
The Didache is written at the end of the 1st century.
Depending on how you date it. But so let's say 2nd to 3rd century, is that what you want?
End of the 1st century to 2nd century. Let's start there.
I don't know why you wanted that early.
It's called contemporary attestation, dude.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
All right, even if it's a little later, bro. Let's what do you have? Let's talk about it.
The earliest I can think of would be Origin. That's the earliest I can think of.
That's pretty late. Origin is late.
Origin's not pretty late.
Origin's late 2nd century. Oh no, sorry. He's late 2nd century, early 3rd century.
Yeah, so late 2nd century is not an issue. I don't see why
that's pretty late. Okay, and Origin and wait, where does Origin? I don't even recall Origin saying. Where does Origin say that?
In his work on the principles.
All right, I'm gonna pull it up. Where?
I believe it's section 3, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, principles. The principles by Origin. Which book? Book 1, 2, 3, or 4? Book 1. You said book 1? Book 3. All right, where in book 3? So I just controlled F Didache and nothing shows up.
From the Apostles or something like that. I don't think he's going to literally
From the Apostles, nothing shows up.
Let me get the quote.
Do you have the source in front of you? You could put it on your screen. I could give you big screen.
So, Romy, I think you're relying on ChatGPT too much.
Nah, like I said, God is my witness and not on ChatGPT.
So where did you get the idea that in the principles he speaks about the Didache?
Based on my notes.
All right. Do your notes have the reference?
Yes, it just says the principles. That's why I'm getting up the point.
Okay, let's take a look at it.
Hey, Libiano.
Yep. As far because 1 second, Leafy. As far as I know, the earliest mention of the Didache comes from Eusebius in his ecclesiastical history. So I don't know if Origin quoting it at all. And Eusebius is 4th century. So it's either you ChatGPT'd it or you just made it up.
There's my witness on ChatGPT.
I don't think you believe in God, but anyways.
Wait, what's your proof of that?
We're not gonna diverge, dude. Can you get the reference?
Oh, so you're just gonna lie people's name.
Getting the reference, please.
Yes, boys, I'm back. Stop asking if I'm back. I'm back, bro. And I'm here to watch Libiano bake someone using ChatGPT for the 5th time today, bro. Like, it's actually embarrassing. Guys, stop using ChatGPT. Libiano's coming for you if you're using ChatGPT.
Who said I'm using ChatGPT?
All right, if you're not, then get the...
Bro, no one cares, bro. No one cares, bro. No one's talking to you.
Focus on getting the reference. Khalas.
Yeah, okay, like, you can have
okay, because it's looking a little sus right now.
Yeah, I literally said...
All right, just focus on that. You know, the next thing that should come out of your mic is you giving the reference.
Yeah, so Origin quotes it. It doesn't say directly. It's from the Apostles, but based on reference, we can...
My dad said he's off tomorrow.
All right, so... Wait, what'd you say, Rami? Rami, did you say what?
I'm so sorry. I thought it was muted. My bad, guys.
Oh, no worries. Rumi, can we please get the reference?
Yeah, I said right that it doesn't say directly. It was the quotes that he says. He quoted it.
All right, where is it?
You don't think he quotes the
Rumi, this is not looking good, man.
Wait,
Can
are
you
you
get that?
serious?
Can you get the reference?
Wait, are you serious?
I'm serious. Get the reference.
Okay, he literally quotes it.
All right, what's the reference?
It's where we're said in book 4.
All right, book 3. Where? I'm on book 3 right now.
Yeah, wait, so you can't see it?
I'm on book 3. Where do I go, Rumi? Where do I go?
Book 3. Let me get it.
Bro really tried to gaslight me. Are you serious? You think he didn't quote it? Come on, man.
Yeah, he did quote it.
What are we doing, man? This guy thought he was going to gaslight me. Come on, don't gaslight me, man.
Libiano, this is the second day in a row people are just making up references against him.
I'm saying, bro. First it was that Quranist dude, now it's Rumi making up stuff, man. Come on, man. You better than that, man.
Bro, someone said fight back, Rumi.
Hey, Libiano.
What's up?
I think, John's in the comments, bro. I think he's got your $2,500. I'm gonna ask him.
Hey, man. 2,000 big American boys. And you got it, man.
John, if you got the money, come up. We'll set it up.
Before that, we need Rumi to either get the reference or concede he made it up. Why is he on mute, bro? Like, hello.
Reference box.
All right.
It's just families around on its late.
All right. We'll wait in silence.
The problem is the reference was an apparition, so it appeared, it disappeared.
This is embarrassing, dude. All right, can we get... Hey, Rumi, what's going on with that reference, man? Come on.
Oh, the discussion's still going on, guys?
It's barely going.
I'm hearing. I've been listening to Libiano for the past 10 minutes, bro. Rumi, wallah, turn on airplane mode, bro.
Yo, the same guy didn't know what phenomenal concept is.
Bro, can you just get the reference?
We
It's
just
been
need the
like 10
reference,
minutes.
Yeah, Rumi, do you have the reference or not?
Yeah, I can read it for you.
I want to read it.
We want the
tell me-
actual reference.
Tell me where it is. I'm on the book right now. It's in front of me on the laptop.
It's not book 3, so it's not book 3.
It's not what?
I can send you a link.
No. I'm on New Advent now. Which book? Which book?
No,
which
look,
chapter?
let me put the link in the chat bar.
No. I need. Make my screen big. No, you're not gonna get away from this, Rumi. Not today. All right. Here's the book. See? Not Eusebius. Sorry. Right here. This is the book. Okay. Let's go all the way up. The Principles, Book 3. I have it right here.
Look, wait, can you give me access so I can put in the chat where I got it from?
Oh my God! Can you just tell us the book and the chapter?
I'm telling you, let me put in the chat the link.
Bro, why
I could barely hear you.
The book and the chapter number.
Yeah,
the book and the chapter number.
I'm telling you where I got it from. So
We don't
Okay,
want to know
Rumi,
we just want the chapter and the
Rumi,
book.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Can you
put
show us what you're looking at?
Hey, this ain't looking good, bro. I ain't gonna
Wait,
lie,
so
man.
let me put the link in the chat.
All right, put the link in the chat, man. This is bad, bro. This is why you shouldn't use ChatGPT when you're debating, bro. This ain't looking good, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Wait, can I?
Rumi, would this source be? I mean, have you verified it? It doesn't seem very reputable.
I haven't put any link in the chat.
Well, I mean, the confidence so far in the source is undermined by the fact that you can't really give us a clear citation.
Yeah, I don't have access to
Hey,
the source.
Rumi, you sound depressed as hell. My bad, bro. I didn't mean to belt you this hard, bro. My
No,
I
bad,
mean,
bro.
I was saying, what I had said
Wow.
earlier was that it seems like the citation was an apparition. It appeared and it disappeared.
Yeah, nobody
just
saw it.
like what happened on the cross. But I can't put anything in the chat.
Rumi, it's okay. You're not gonna get the source. Let's just continue, man.
I think Veritas has the source because Veritas is requesting. He may have the source.
All right.
Veritas, you got the source? Hey, Veritas, you have the source? You got the citation?
No, I don't even know what he's citing. Citation.
Look at Reductia.
Let's put him on
Just
mute.
mute up for a second.
Wait, Reductia has it.
All right. So you can't. You made it up. It's okay.
Wait, no. Listen. Reductia has it. He's in the chat.
Who?
Okay, I'll bring him up. Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry, Veritas. I just dropped you from. Reductia, you got a request, bro.
Can we bring Ahmad up?
Yeah, bring Ahmad up. Yeah.
Reductio is not requesting, my friend.
Just say he has it.
I know, but he's not requesting.
Okay, then you can wait for him to request if you
All right, man. Hey, bro, we waited 15 minutes, man. Can we just progress in the convo now?
Yeah, he said that there's more than one way. Maybe we should give him some leniency and get him to give another way where it was verifiable. Go ahead.
All right. So I'm just gonna grant him, just for the sake of the conversation, all right? Because he's not gonna get a source. Anyway, let's grant that the Didache is authored by the 12. Okay. Now, the whole problem with this premise that you're positing is that when the Didache speaks of the Eucharist as a celebration to be done by Christians who believe in Christ, you assume that the Eucharist is the same Pauline Eucharist from the Pauline tradition and from the Gospel tradition. I'm saying, what's the evidence for that? That's really what's important.
So you believe the Pauline Eucharist is different to the Eucharist in John?
In John? What? What are you talking about?
You said that the Pauline Eucharist or the Supper
John is a Pauline Eucharist.
What's your proof of that?
Because, very, very simple. The first time we have an idea of a Eucharist or the blood of the covenant comes from Paul's writing, which are our earliest writings. And we know that John's soteriology, Mark's soteriology, Matthew's soteriology, and Luke's soteriology is in match with that of Paul's. Therefore, it would be good to assume that they're following the Pauline tradition.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
You don't agree that Paul is in line with Paul's soteriology, or John is in line with Paul's soteriology?
No, I don't agree.
So you do agree?
That doesn't follow me back.
All right, is John's gospel in agreement with Paul's soteriology?
Wait, what I'm saying is this, right? That just because St. Paul's agreeing with the others doesn't mean it's Pauline soteriology. I don't grant.
No, that's what I'm arguing for. Are you not tracking?
Yeah. So
I'm arguing. Just listen. Just listen.
You have to make the argument.
I am, and you're begging the question. So pay attention. I'm positing two traditions. I'm positing a Jewish Christian tradition, okay, which the Didache is in agreement with, okay, which the letter of James is in agreement with, which Q is in agreement with, which Gospel of Thomas is in agreement with.
That's
okay.
Assuming Q exists.
Well, we don't.
Can't hear you. Can you just speak up when you speak? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we don't even have to assume Q. No problem. The other documents are sufficient, right? And then there's the tradition from Paul. I'm saying there are two traditions. We have sufficient evidence from the gospel literature to suggest that they are in accordance with Paul's idea of Eucharist? What's the evidence that the Didache's tradition is in agreement with Paul's idea of the Eucharist?
What's the evidence?
Are you track? I'm asking you for the evidence.
Yeah. No, I'm just clarifying that.
Yeah. So what's the evidence that the Eucharistic meal or the Thanksgiving meal, okay, in the Didache has anything to do with the death and resurrection?
Because when we read it holistically in light of other documents around that time, then we can conclude that this is the most plausible.
So he's not getting the point. I'm saying so I'm positing two traditions, okay? What is the evidence? So we know that the Gospels are in line with Pauline soteriology because the Gospels have intertext. Oh, sorry, I had the message on my screen. So pay attention, okay? We have evidence to suggest the Gospels are Pauline, meaning their authors, whoever authored the Gospels, was a Pauline Christian, okay? What is it?
I don't grant that. Look, you're saying that.
You don't grant that the authors are Pauline Christians?
Like a Pauline Christian?
Meaning holding to the same gospel that was preached by Paul.
Do you think there was a different gospel?
Yes, Paul tells us there's a different gospel.
Okay, where?
Have you ever read Galatians?
Yeah, Galatians 1:8, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, not just Galatians 1:8, all over Galatians. Galatians 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Galatians 6. 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians.
Look, he's not referring to a view that there was a gospel before his. He's referring to any revelation.
Wait, did I mention before his or not? What are you talking about?
Look, I haven't finished.
Is there a different gospel or not?
The Quran, yeah, the Quran's a different
gospel. What the heck does the Quran have to do with this?
No, because gospel.
Bro, you are actually panicking right now. Rumi, is there a different gospel?
Let me finish.
Oh my God, he's gibberating now. Go ahead.
The Quran, look, gospel just means revelation. So when
that's not what it means. That's not what gospel means.
Let me finish.
Oh my God, there's no way.
Let me finish. Look, when the gospel there is referring to in Galatians 1:8, it can mean multiple things. If you read the saints of the church, right, it can refer to either a revelation or any doctrine that contradicts.
I got you.
Can I finish?
Yeah, Rumi, you need to speak up though.
Yeah,
people can't hear you.
Speak up and actually address. Like you're going somewhere else. You're not addressing what I'm saying.
I can't right now. I can't speak up that loud right
now. Okay, so Rumi, when I say different gospel, what do you think I mean?
If you understand if you're a pagan and you probably understand it in the way that you probably think it's understood, you probably just think that like a different text.
No, that's not what I mean. That's okay. You've never, Rumi, have you ever read the New Testament?
I understand.
Okay, have you ever read the New Testament in its entirety? I don't think so. I don't, because the blunders you're making are too unreal. So
when St. Paul is speaking about the gospel, right? Galatians 1:8, right? When he says that even if an angel comes to you and preaches you a different gospel, let it be occurred.
Right. What was that different? So in context, all right.
No, what he's referring to is a principle, which is that if any theology comes and contradicts, you reject it. That's
not theology. You're wrong again. You see the blunder? Let me stop. You keep blundering. Gospel doesn't refer to theology. Gospel doesn't refer. Stop. Gospel refers to good news, right? Let me finish. Gospel refers to the good news of Christ. What Christ came and taught about himself, taught about God, and taught about salvation. That's gospel. So gospel is not just theology. It's also Christology. It's also soteriology. It's all three.
Christology has to do with theology. That's like a blunder.
Did you just forget what I said at the end?
No,
Christology, theology, soteriology.
Well, what is theology?
Cool.
What is theology?
It's the study of God.
That's not how it's used there.
Theology is not the study of God?
When I say
Are we
theology,
fooling ourselves right now?
wait, when I say theology,
Oh my God.
right, what do you think I'm referring to?
The study of the idea of God.
No.
All right. So don't use ambiguous words then.
No,
That's what theology means.
No,
the idea of God.
No,
I just define theology for you.
That's not how theology. That's not the definition of theology. Look, under theology you have moral theology, right? You have Mariology, right?
Mariology? What? Dude? What?
So
we're talking about Pauline letters. You're talking about Mariology? What in the anachronism is going on right now?
No, you asked about theology.
Oh my God! All right, Rumi, stop. Rumi, this is embarrassing.
Look,
right?
No, you don't understand.
This is embarrassing. Can we get back to the point? Now you're gibberating your way out.
No, it's not. It's relevant, right?
All right. Can we get back to the point?
Can I speak?
No. I want to get back to the point.
Look,
I want to get back to Paul and Galatians.
No, I'm gonna stick here because
you see now this is panic mode, bro. This is actually panic mode. You can't make this. Why are you gibberating about the branches of theology? Who cares? We're not talking about that.
No, it's because when St. Paul is referring to there is another gospel, he's referring to when there's a theology that contradicts the one that we have given to.
And by theology, you mean?
Which means anything such as Mariology or Christology or anything like that.
Okay, cool. No problem. We could agree with that. No worries.
Okay, so
if theology encompasses everything, no problem. As long as we get back to the point you keep running from.
If you read,
can we get back to the point, dude?
Not the point, Rumi. His
oh my
point
God,
is to agree or disagree that Paul and the Gospels are.
Can we stick on Galatians? Okay.
You was harping on it for like 5 minutes, and when I correct you, it's like
you didn't correct anything. You use univocal or equivocal terms.
No, you just don't know Christian
theology. You agreed now. Can you move forward?
Yeah, no problem. If you mean by theology, oh my God, Rumi, you're actually running, dude. Can we stick on the topic, bro? What are we doing?
I'm sticking on the topic.
All right, cool. So you said there was no different gospel. That's your claim. In the time of Paul, were his enemies preaching a different gospel?
No.
Oh my God.
When did I say that?
Can you stop cutting me? Wallahi, you said there was no different gospel.
No, I'm saying that the gospels, the four gospels, are not different gospels to the one that's.
The four gospels are not pre-Pauline. They are post-Pauline, dude. We're not talking about. Oh my God! How could you be this slow?
Wait, it depends when you date them.
Any dating. Nobody dates Mark before 70. Actually, you have some dating to. Let me finish. You have some dating to 60. But by then, Paul is dead.
No, I date Mark in the 40s. What do you mean?
What's the evidence for that? Oh my God! So are you saying Mark is pre-Paul?
Yeah.
What's the evidence for that? Evidence.
Wait, the evidence. We can. Do you think Mark is written after Matthew?
No, you made a claim. Please, evidence.
Yeah. So look.
I need evidence, please. Go ahead.
No, look. Do you think Matthew's written after?
I'm not gonna make any claims. I need the evidence.
Okay. No, look. Just answer this question.
I know I'm not gonna answer, and I need evidence. You just made a claim. You made a heavy, fat assertion that no scholar has ever made, bro. All right? You think Mark is pre-Pauline. I've never, this is actually the biggest blunder I've ever heard in my life. So can you please give the evidence as to why Mark is pre-Paul? Cannot make this up, bro. Cannot make this up.
Yeah,
the evidence. This is the second time we're gonna be on silence for 15 minutes. Even the Christians are not with us right now. They're like, yo, what is going on?
If there's a Christian,
yo.
Hey, Rumi, you need to come back and finish because this conversation is going on YouTube as soon as this live is over.
Okay, so
and once this conversation's over, this live is over. So make sure you land your points.
Okay, so the gospel in context Social and Political History in the Synoptic Tradition by Gerd Thiessen.
What's the evidence?
Okay,
Actually, you know what? It's fine. In book reference, please.
Page 188 to 199.
All right, let's pull it up. Can you pull it up for us?
I have the text in front of me. I'm not putting my camera on.
Okay, let's read it together and let's talk about it. Go ahead.
Okay, so it says, only in Jerusalem...
No, open your camera. I want to see it.
Yeah, I'm not opening my camera. You can...
No, all right. We need an in book because, again, I guarantee you just popped... The reason that I'm making you stick to this again, because it's actually besides my point, whether it's there or not. But the reason I'm going to make you stick to this, because I guarantee you just ChatGPT again for the second time in the conversation. So pull it up. All right, so pull it up. What are you reading from?
Okay, so the Gospel in Context, Social and Political...
Yeah, what are you reading from? Are you reading from the book? A scan?
Yeah, page 188 to 189.
Okay, can you send the scan to Omar? He'll show it. Go ahead.
Don't have Omar added.
You don't have the scan?
No, I don't have Omar added.
Who do you have added?
Nobody on the panel.
All right. Send Omar the scan.
I have his number.
I'm only doing this, by the way, to show that he doesn't even have it. He just ChatGPT'd it again.
No,
that's my suspicion.
Libiano, I have his literal number. Like,
all right, Rumi. All right, Rumi, can you text him the scan? I just want to see if you're honest this time. I don't trust you. Go ahead. Text him the scan.
All right, that's fine.
All right.
Crazy.
Just saying, why are we always on crickets, man?
Before and alive, I swear to God, a panel of what? Almost seven people or so, just completely quiet.
Yeah, no, we try to be disciplined, Barakallah Feek,
right,
and have some decorum. Rumi, do you have the citation?
I sent it to him.
All right, Omar, can you put it up? Let's just see if he's honest this time. If he's honest, we'll give him the point.
Dude, this isn't a scan. You just copy pasted the text.
Oh my God! No way.
That's what you was referring to.
You said you have the scan.
I'm not. Why would I screenshot the page?
You said you're reading from the scan.
No, reading from the text.
La hawla wa la quwwata. Can you screenshot the scan, please, and send it to him?
All right. Let me open the book then.
Yes, open the as if you have it. Yeah, open the book. This guy's been a ChatGPT warrior for the longest time, man. I've been peeping it.
So in the meantime, while we give him 15 minutes to send the scans, what do you guys want to talk about?
Talk about how Rumi has been a ChatGPT warrior his whole life.
Bro, let's talk about how he doesn't know that like Mark is actually influenced by Paul.
That's literally the point.
Bro, no, but Rumi, seriously, how do you not know that Mark is influenced directly by Paul, according to like the consensus of all scholars? How do you not know that?
Wait,
like you're actually brain dead, bro.
Wait, Leafy. That's an ad populum fallacy. It's an ad populum fallacy.
Oh, a posteriori, if you look at the probability of the Catholic Church, then it makes sense. You don't understand, Libiano. A posteriori, it all makes sense. Bro, this guy's so low too. I don't even know why you're still talking.
He just ran. He just dipped.
I'm not surprised.
Hey, bro.
Hey, that's how you do with Rumi, man.
Hold on, I'll give him like 60 seconds to come back, and then we can.
I bet you he's gonna be like, Libiano made fun of my accent. I dropped. Yeah, watch that. I'm gonna make a prophecy right now. Watch it be the excuse, bro. Watch it be the excuse. I guarantee you, bro. It's gonna be Libiano made fun of me, so I dropped. Watch.
Hey, big bad Libiano. Big bad Libiano was mean to me. Oh.
Bro, I've been peeping this terrible argument of continuity. It's so trash, man. Can't believe
Bro, I don't know how he has the goal to make it, bro. Like, I don't understand how he can actually make that argument with a straight face.
Bro, no. You know, he said, like, I date, as if you're some critical scholar. I dated to 40. Bro, what? What do you mean you dated to 40, bro?
Bro, Libiano, even like the most conservative fundamentalist scholars, like N.T. Wright, bro, doesn't get more conservative than N.T. Wright. Even he wouldn't say Mark is 40. Even he wouldn't say Mark is before Paul. No one says that, bro. Absolutely no one says that. The only person I've ever heard say that is him and another Loti who had no idea like what he's talking about.
No. I was actually very surprised to hear him say. I was surprised to hear him say that Mark is 40 AD. Like, what? That's nuts. Like, nobody's ever said that, bro. That's crazy, man.
Bro, that means Mark is writing like 9 years after, like less, like 7 or 6 years after Jesus.
Yeah, man. That's nuts.
That makes no sense. Bro, because think about it. You also have to give time. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
No, that's all good. He's not even here anymore. I'm waiting to see if he's gonna re-request.
Hey, bring up his boyfriend. Bring up the boyfriend Reductio that was cheering for him and then stopped midway because
I invited Reductio 3 or 4 times. That's why the panel kept shifting to create more space. Reductio, do you want to come up? I think Reductio left as well.
Bro, they're all low tier, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. But anyway, bro, you have to give time. You have to give time for Q because we know Mark uses Q. So we have to give time for Q to be written down and circulating, which is not.
He doesn't even think Q existed.
It doesn't matter what he thinks, though. Even if you take another hypothesis, like the Pharaoh hypothesis or whatever, you still have to give time for the circulation of Mark. Like that's not gonna happen in 5-10 years, bro. So what does he date?
Bro, you know what's funny? You know what's funny, Levy? He actually. So he said he dates Mark to 40, but he thinks Matthew is pre-Markan.
No, but he says that, bro. He says that because he's blind following the tradition. He's just doing taqlid of Augustine.
So Matthew is written. You need time for Matthew to circulate. So Matthew is writing before Jesus even dies, or what?
Like, bro, I don't understand, bro.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, man.
In the book on PDF to do him like favor, but I can't find it. It's like you can't. I guarantee you he does not have this book.
I missed the ending. What happened?
He dropped. He ran away.
Oh man. Libiano, if I can ask, can you just basically run us through a quick summary of what happened in that conversation with you and Rumi and what he basically conceded to or couldn't substantiate and so on?
Yeah, so he was running the continuity argument, I heard, joined into the live. And I came up because he asked you a question. He said, is Muhammad ﷺ in continuity with Jesus? I said, okay, ask that again, Rumi. And I said, yes, he is. So then he's like, wait, so Jesus was crucified and resurrected? He predicted it? Well, first he said, was Jesus crucified and resurrected? I said, historically, yeah. Historically, the Quran doesn't agree that people saw him die, believed that he died, wrote that he died. So yeah, absolutely, it's an absolute conformity with the Quran. And he conceded that point. So he conceded that the Quran is actually in absolute conformity with the historical data, right? So he conceded that point. Then he went to, his next point was, did Jesus prophesy his death, resurrection? I said, historically, no. He said, well, how do you know that? I'm like, well, using the HCM, historical critical method. He said, well, how do you use the HCM? I said, you use the criteria of dissimilarity, criteria of embarrassment. You analyze the internal data, external data, and you find out if it's a plausible conclusion that Jesus predicted his death and resurrection, which basically every scholar of the historical Jesus denies. I gave him Geza Vermes, John Dominic Crossan, E.P. Sanders, Bart Ehrman, James D. Tabor, and many, many others who are giants of the historical Jesus, and they don't think that the historical Jesus prophesied his death and resurrection.
Well, by the way, to be honest, just one clarification for everyone as well. It's not because of their presupposition of naturalism that they say that. It's because of the internal evidence itself.
I already said all that. So then, we jump into the internal inconsistencies, and I told him, look, using the criteria of dissimilarity, right? You have this first century view of what the Messiah is supposed to do. Jesus claims to be that Messiah, but he suddenly dies.
Yeah. So people, because I see people commenting, oh, they're atheists, by the way, but it's not because of the presupposition of naturalism. Not at all.
Yeah, right. So then I just said, Jesus claimed to be the Messiah. And there's an expectation of what the Messiah is supposed to do. And it's not die on the cross. Nobody thought the Messiah would die on the cross. That idea develops later, right? That's a post-Easter development. Then we say, look, if Jesus dies and they thought that he's the Messiah and the Messiah is not supposed to die, then it's the most plausible conclusion that they would go and look for a grounding or a basis for a dead Messiah. So they go into the text and they find Isaiah 53, Psalm 22, things that kind of, you can make it work. You can make it work with a dead Messiah. And then they retell his story in light of those prophecies. So that's why when you read the Gospels, right, you read the Gospel of John, it's as if the author is retelling Psalm 22. It's as if the author has Psalm 22 in mind, and he's retelling it and putting it into Jesus' life. If you go to Matthew, Mark, it's Luke, the book of Acts, it's as if the author has Isaiah 53 in mind, and he's using the same kind of language, the same kind of terminology, and, rewriting Jesus' life. So according to the criteria of dissimilarity, and we got into the internal inconsistencies of it just doesn't make sense if he told them that this would happen to react the way they react and for the women to react the way they reacted, right? So then it follows that he probably didn't predict it and he just anticipated. It's likely he anticipated his death because of the dangers of his mission and him being around so many Jews on Passover in Jerusalem, where thousands of Jews are coming back to Jerusalem to celebrate the Passover, and him preaching the kingdom of God to come, repentance. He probably said something about the temple being destroyed. He opposed the elders, Pharisees, teachers of the law, Sadducees. So he caused an uproar, and he knew this would not end good for him. And so he probably anticipated his death. And so then he's, captured. In that week, he's imprisoned. The next day, he's crucified. His disciples think he's crucified, and people start transmitting that he's crucified, and then it becomes an idea that Jesus is crucified. And then maybe a week or 2 weeks later in Galilee. So this is interesting because early on you have two distinct traditions. You have the Galilean appearances and you have the Jerusalem appearances. Luke, right, doesn't want the appearances to happen later in Galilee. Luke wants the appearance to happen right away in Jerusalem. That's why he has Jesus tell the disciples, don't leave the city. And so the disciples don't leave Jerusalem until Pentecost, Acts chapter 1. But you have a contradictory account in Matthew, Mark, and in Matthew and Mark, where he tells them to leave the city and to go to Galilee. So the women come back, they say, Jesus said, leave the city, go to Galilee, meet us there. So that's likely what happened. They left Jerusalem that week. They're confused. The guy, they think he's the Messiah, he died. What's going on? They go back to their normal Jewish life. And after that, they see him alive. And so after seeing him alive, they preach that he died and resurrected. And then he disappears again. So that's the most likely reconstruction of what happened.
I like the point that you brought up in regards to Luke, where you essentially said that Luke says he was unsure as to why the Messiah, they had lower faith due to the fact that the Messiah actually resurrected again. I think that was a really good point that you brought.
Yeah, it's because, look, if he's telling you, I'm going to die, I'm going to resurrect, I'm going to be crucified, I'm going to be flogged, then when those things happen, you will say, oh, look, everything's happening as it's supposed to. Okay, yeah, he is the Messiah. But that doesn't happen because when he's captured and dies, they say the exact opposite. Well, I guess he's not the Messiah. Which doesn't make any sense if he told them that was supposed to happen.
Right.
It makes no sense. Anyways, thank you guys for having me. I'm going to drop now. Assalamu alaikum.
You guys are welcome.
Yeah.
All right.
Assalamu alaikum as well.
Wa alaikum assalam.